I want to address this aspect, this idea of a continuum of AI integration into learning. The idea for this comes in that in talking to a lot of different instructors, I have some instructors that are very apprehensive. And when I talk to them more, a lot of this apprehension is because they think they have to be all in with AI or that they can't do it. So that's not true at all. It's not an all or nothing type of thing. So what I'm going to talk about today is this idea of there being a continuum. So we can start from just some minor, small integration to full-on integration. So we'll address all those different aspects. But before I even talk about us as instructors integrating the AI into our classroom, we have to keep in mind that the students can already use AI on their own. They can use it outside of class. They can use it in class, actually, because it's available on their cell phone. I'm talking about AI like ChatGPT or any of the other ones from Google or even Microsoft, and there's even more as well. So the idea is that we're going to talk about this continuum of our integration of AI into the classroom. But of course, students can always do this. And as always, think about AI literacy and how we can integrate and talk about academic integrity as well. In looking at the continuum of AI integration into learning, we have a full spectrum to think about. So we're going to go all the way from not integrated to fully integrated. At the no integration end, we would have basically nothing, doing nothing. This could be banning it or not talking about it at all. So we want to avoid that because, of course, AI is here. It's a real thing. Students already know about it. So we need to at least start to address it in some way. A simple thing that all of us could do is to start at the very beginning here and simply have AI as a discussion topic. So AI is only discussed in the classroom. So that means all we're doing is that we're not using AI at all, but we're talking about it. We're having a discussion. So all of us could do this by simply having a discussion about AI. Why is it not being used in the classroom? Why is it not being used right now, but will be later? What are the different ways that AI could be used in the classroom? Again, pose questions to the students to at least have an understanding that it exists. And even if you're not going to use it in your class, it's important to discuss it and talk about it as far as giving your explanations as to why it's not being used or why it might be used towards the end of the semester. The important thing is that the students know that you know that AI exists. So again, this starts to develop our overall AI literacy. And in that discussion, you can make sure to hammer in on some things as far as what are your specific policies dealing with what would be acceptable, what wouldn't be acceptable. If you don't want them to use AI in your class for any of the writing assignments, then you should tell them, hey, when I assign you a writing assignment, you're not allowed to use AI for this. And again, give your explicit reasons why. Now, again, students can still use AI on their own to help them study, to help them summarize information, to provide additional examples. You can't really take that away because AI is already a real tool that's available, and it's empowering to them to help them learn. But as far as within your class, for your assignments, be specific and tell them exactly what you're expecting. Moving on in the continuum, we have this next level, which would be instructor demonstrates AI use and results. So in this way, you could use AI in your classroom. You could bring it up, you could have it projected, and then you could talk about, hey, this is what the AI gives as a result when we pose it this type of question on the topic that I'm instructing. So then you could have a discussion there and talk about, well, why did it do this? Are there problems with any of the results? Is there hallucinations going on? A good discussion there, again, where you're demonstrating what AI is capable of within your field. That would be a good way to start to integrate AI there. You can also say one effective technique is to tell them about your assignment. Like, I'm going to want you to create an essay about this, and then put that into the AI and say, look, this is what AI gives me. So this result from AI, that's not what I'm wanting from you. So don't use AI because this is the result that it gives. That's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for this, more personalization, more examples, more specific things. So again, you could use AI in that way to demonstrate what it's capable of, to demonstrate what's going on with AI as you continue on with integration in that continuum. The next level here would be where the instructor provides AI results and then the students work to modify it or to improve it. This is an effective technique where you could go in and again, feed AI a prompt, where, let's say, it creates, as an example, it creates an essay about democracy. So here it is, a very generic type of result. But again, now we have a result. So now I could give this AI result to the students and say, hey, here's an essay. What I want you to do is to add to it. I want you to develop it even more. So maybe they could put it in track changes, and then they would add to it. They would edit it. They would give more examples, more personalization, whatever it is that you're after. But now they're working with the AI. So again, you're still fully in control. They're not using AI on their own. You're still in control. We're at the lower end of the continuum, but now you're integrating it in this way. They're getting exposure to AI. They're seeing the results that it's capable of, and now they're adding to. So they're working with that AI. This is an effective technique as well. Moving up even more, now we have the students use the AI, but only in the classroom. So this is either in groups or individually. So in this way, the students would utilize AI. They'd be working with the AI, but only in the classroom. So now they would be under your supervision, but they're getting results from the AI. So this would be like in a classroom, you could have some sort of activity. You could tell them, hey, either have a computer station there, or maybe in a computer lab, or if you're comfortable and they're at the right level, they could be using their cell phone, putting in a prompt to an AI, getting different results, and then talking about that or using that as part of the in-class assignment. But again, it's still under your control. So we're moving up in the spectrum of integration with AI, but you're still observing it. So this is only done in the classroom. So again, you have more control, but we're moving up as far as more AI integration. The next level here is where you would have students use AI out of the classrooms. So here they could be in groups or individually, but they're only using the AI for some of the aspects of the assigned work. Here, the students are using AI, and again, they're using it on their own. This is outside of the classroom, but they're only using it for some aspects of the assignment. A simple example here would be if I assign an essay. So I'm telling them they're going to do an essay about a general topic. So I could say that the general topic deals with technology. I need an essay about technology. Now they could use the AI to come up with different topics. So they could use AI to help them brainstorm, to help them create even an outline. So they're working with the AI for these different aspects. Again, building blocks, 7-step writing process. There's a lot of different pieces there, but they're not using it for the full thing. So I could say, use it to help you develop it, but don't use it to create the rough draft. Don't use it to actually write your essay. So again, now I'm still helping them integrate with AI, helping them use it as a tool, but they're not using it for the full thing. So here I'm in control, they're using it, we're developing this AI literacy even more because they're gaining experience with the system, but they're not using it completely and fully for everything. Moving up even more, now we have the students use AI in groups or individually again for any and all aspects of the assignment. So they're using it for everything, but they must fully declare when and where it is used. So now the students have greater agency to use the AI how they wish. So they could use it for the rough draft. They could use it for the complete thing. They still have to work with it. They still have to edit and add to it. So it's going to be a mixture of their work. But now the big thing is that they have to cite, or cite might not even be the right word, because they might just be putting a declaration in there, right? Saying that, oh, this part I used AI for. And they could have to explain it depending on what you're looking for. But the idea here is that they're working fully with the AI, but they're still declaring where it is that AI has been assisting them, or if a portion is, this part was written by AI, then they're saying this part was written by AI. They're working with it. They're still adding their own parts. And again, it's this working with. So we have much more AI integration. We're at the higher end here, but they're still expressing, this is how I use the AI. Again, totally depending on what it is that you're looking for. And then at the highest level here, we have students use AI, again, in groups or individually, for any and all aspects of assigned work. You're not even having them declare where it is that they're using the AI. So now this would be sort of the highest level, where they're using the AI and you're not even sure when it is that they're using the AI, when they're not, because you're not requiring them to do declaration. So again, there's lots of different aspects and views in academia about using AI. This would be a full integration level where You're not really concerned on their use of the AI. You're more concerned on what is going to be the result of them using it. So whether they can use it and to pass a test, whether they can use it to create a final product, that's what you're concerned with. Now, again, that isn't the only thing you're concerned with, but for this assignment, that's what you're looking for. So you don't need to know whether they use the AI or not. That might seem a little bit controversial, right? But that's okay, because there's 3 different questions that I want you to think about when you're considering how you're integrating AI within your class, within the topic, within the assignment. So 3 overall questions to really help us put this in the proper framework. Question 1, what am I really assessing? What is the student learning outcome, SLO? Is it the student's ability to write or something else or both? So this is really an important question, because some of us, and again, myself included, have at times sort of gotten wrapped around this idea of, well, if I'm doing a writing assessment, then I have to fully evaluate their writing. But I'm not using the writing assessment to teach them writing or to verify their writing capabilities. I'm using the writing assessment to see that they can put things together in a logical way based off of what I want them to understand. Now, again, that doesn't have to be the only way that I assess them, but that's one way that I assess them. So I'll give you an example here. So in my class, Professional Communications, I'm planning on doing an assignment where they have to create a report about a place where they want to work at. So there's going to be, very specific things that I'm looking for, and they have to give me proper citations about where they're getting this information. Now, when I give that assignment, I'm not going to care whether they use AI or not. I'm not even going to have them declare that they used AI. But what I am looking for is that finished product. Okay, now don't jump to any conclusions here. That's not the only thing I care about, because there's also going to be a component where they present this information. There's going to be an oral presentation. I'm going to be asking them questions about, hey, do you know this? Why did you do this? So they have to know the information as well. But for this end product, I want them to be able to create a report. Whether they use AI or not, I want them to be able to create a finished product. So that means it has to be correct. It has to be logical. I'm going to grade them very harshly on the citations part. If that citation is hallucinated, I'm going to go down and give them lots of negative points on that, because that means that they didn't properly look, they didn't properly check, which is the main thing that I'm looking for when they hand in this type of report, that they can properly complete it, that it's logical, that it's accurate, because I think that that's going to properly then translate to when they go to the workforce. So again, for the purposes of this, that's a big thing that I'm looking for. So that's something to consider as far as what is that SLO? What am I really assessing? Question 2, am I using the right balance of formative versus summative assessments to best hold students accountable for learning with or without AI? So this is another important question, right? Am I using the right amount of formative and summative assessments? So again, the example that I gave, I think really sort of ties this together, in that would be a summative assessment, that they could create this final product. But there's lots of formative assessments that go on before that. I'm giving them some time to put it together in class, to ask questions, but I'm asking them questions as well to make sure that it's not just a simple thing of the AI does it, they get it, and they turn it in. No, it needs to be much more, because they need to have input in it. They need to create with it. So there's going to be an accountability that goes on in that. We're going to have discussions in class. There might be quizzes. There might be all these other things to sort of help form their capability. And so we need to balance that out as far as the right number of formative with summative assessments. It all ties together. And the third question, is essay writing the best assessment technique, or should I use something different or use additional techniques, such as quizzes, in-class oral presentations, student-centered videos, podcasts, posters, etc.? This is another important thing to really consider, in that a lot of us have been using written assignments as the end-all be-all and the only way to assess students. But there are many different other techniques, other ways that we can do that. The student would have to create a podcast or an oral presentation or a student-created video. Again, they could still use AI to help create that, but they still have to go through the process, and they still have to be accountable, because you could have an additional part where they have to answer some questions, or They have to do an in-class presentation or an in-class discussion about it. So again, we can incorporate many different things. There's nothing wrong with written assignments, and you can even have short written assignments in class where they can't use the AI. The only thing that we're thinking about here is that the best technique? Is that the best way to do this assessment? Is there other ways? Is there other integrations I can use to help address the way that I'm integrating AI? So there we go. There is this full continuum, this whole spectrum of how we can integrate AI into the learning. And it doesn't have to be an all or nothing, and it doesn't have to be a continuous thing as far as, oh, well, I did this, now I have to do this, and I have to move up. Nope, it's totally up to you. The empowerment is fully yours. You're the instructor. You're the one that's making these decisions, but you have to think about it. You have to be able to express, why am I using AI here for this in this way? Why am I not using AI over here? Well, because I want to help my students develop skills mastery before they start to use AI as an assistive tool. So lots of different things to think about. But again, this slow integration, slow different ways that we can use it, it's all available for us for different topics, different assignments. We make that decision. We are the ones choosing. The big thing is that you express that to your students. Tell them why, how, when, and where, and if they can use AI. It's important to be very explicit, very clear, so that they're following. There's no misunderstanding, no ideas of I didn't know, so that we can avoid academic misconduct. So again, be very clear with every assignment. I recommend to all my instructors here at I'm with the Center for Teaching and Learning, so I recommend to all instructors that they talk about it in class as far as how AI can be used for this assignment specifically. They talk about it in the assignment instructions, and even in the rubric. Talk about it there, saying, hey, you can use AI, you can't use AI. If you get caught using AI, this is the grade that you're going to get. Something like that, to make sure that everyone knows and they're on the same sheet of music as far as your level of AI integration for that specific thing. So a lot of things to really think about. And as we go through, we can develop this and you can use it differently, experiment with it. Some of us are still brand new with using AI, ChatGPT and the other ones. So just use it little by little to see how this can help. The thing is that a lot of students are already using AI. A majority of the students are. So we need to think about, well, how can this be used to enhance our instruction, to enhance education? It's very, very motivational in itself because it is a new technology. So students are gravitating to it, and it can save a lot of time, both for the students and the instructors. But the key thing is that we're using it in the way that will enhance the instruction and create the best educational learning experience for that student. All right, thank you very much. And remember, learning is for life.